And here's what we miss. We miss that God does promise to provide for us in a material way. There's material addition. There's earthly wealth that God brings into our lives. I mean, everything we have is from God. Okay? Even there are verses in the Old Testament that say, don't think that it's your own skill or your own time or your own energy that produced your salary. It's all a gift. God gave you the strength to even do that. God gave you the intellect to do this. All a gift from God in the first place. So all the material provision we have and blessing we have comes from God in the first place. And it's saying here that God is going to multiply that as we give it away, that we're going to be enriched in every way, which means also we're going to be financially enriched at times. Biblically, you do a broad look at the Bible, God's favor on people is described in material ways. It's described, even heavenly rewards, even eternal rewards. Hey, you do good works now, God's going to remember it and bless it forever, and you can get eternal rewards. Those are real physical things that we'll get. We won't get them now, we'll get them there. But it doesn't just say that. It's, the children of Israel, when they come out of slavery, right? Well, they plunder the Egyptians and they get all this loot. The Egyptians are literally, with all the plagues and everything, they're literally giving them their money, saying, take all of this gold, take all of this stuff, just get out of here. We don't want to die. So they give up, they plunder them. And then later on, they use all of that to build the temple. That the temple in Jerusalem came from all the Egyptian gold that they got when they escaped Egypt. And then they're told, you're going to be taken to a land flowing with milk and honey. This is material provision. This is God saying, I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to bless you. I'm going to multiply what you have, that you'll be enriched in every way. Even at the birth of Jesus, right? The wise men bring gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh at his birth. There's a multiplication. There's a blessing, a provision there at the birth of Jesus. Now, if we stop there, we are in danger of falling into a prosperity gospel, which is why these verses can be so easily misinterpreted. And we have this view of God, that God just exists to make us healthy and wealthy, and that God's almost like a machine, that if I give, he has to owe me a certain amount of money. We forget the parts of the Bible that say, like, hey, look, sometimes you don't have a lot. Sometimes you're in poverty. Sometimes you're enriched in every way, and other times you have a little bit less. But the promise is there's always a sufficiency. That's the foundation of it. There's always a sufficiency. But as we learn to be generous and give, what we find is we find our resources. We find that we actually might see more resources coming into our life. But here's the beautiful thing about it. What specifically? In verse 10 it says that you're giving the seed for sowing. You're giving the seed. So what's the purpose of, if God enriches us, if we give and then we receive more, we're blessed, and we can be blessed in lots of ways, not just material ways. We can be blessed in all kinds of ways, but sometimes we are blessed in material ways. What's the purpose of that? We're blessed for the purpose of sowing. And then specifically in verse 11 as well. Verse 11, you will be enriched in every way to be generous in every way. The purpose of being enriched in every way is to be generous in every way. So as we give, as God honors, because God honors our giving. God honors our good works. Just as there's eternal rewards promised in heaven for the good works we do now, God honors those and remembers that, but also in our giving in this life, God says, I'm going to honor that and bless you in the here and now as well. There's always going to be a sufficiency, but as it multiplies, as you see it multiplies in the things you give it to, but also you can see provision for yourself. You're given extra in order to be generous. That's the purpose of it. That's where the prosperity gospel twists it. It says essentially, you do this, you use this as a mechanism so that you can buy new cars and wear fancy clothes and wear all kind of jewelry and all kind of stuff, which is not the purpose of it. God blesses us so that we can bless other people, so that we can bless other people, that as we plant it, as we put the seeds in the ground, as we put it in fertile soil, we're going to see amazing things grow out of it. When you like and subscribe, this video reaches more people.